Hey everybody, it's Pam and Bill at Country Living Newbie Custom Decor in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Welcome to Friday. It's Friday Night Live, second one in a row, and we got some cool projects tonight. So as you jump on, remember, tell us where you're from. If you're a retailer, tell us where you're at so everybody knows. And we're going to jump right into these projects. So tonight we're painting fabric, and we have this really cute antique Victorian chair, and we're going to be painting the fabric, and we're going to show you a couple different phases as you paint fabric. We're going to flip the chair around because we've already started some of it, so we'll kind of look at 3 different phases of fabric painting, and then we are going to attempt to put a stencil on the fabric as well, so we'll do some of that. And if you read the description, we promised y'all, if you've never seen an antique camel saddle, we're going to show you one, but we're not just going to show it to you, we're going to show you how this Howdy Doody hemp seed oil is transforming this saddle. So we've had this in our store for a little bit, and you know, I just kind of got looking at it and thought it's pretty rough looking. So there's a really pretty gold inlay here. And so what I can tell, this is an antique Moroccan camel saddle. I'm not really sure how old it is, but the detail on it is so pretty. But it's very kind of, not really scratched, but faded and just looking very dull. So I decided, hey, let's give Howdy Do hemp seed oil. I think I called it Howdy Doody, didn't I?
I think you did too, yes.
It's actually just Howdy Do hemp seed oil. So this is a kind of like a furniture or a wood conditioner. It kind of brings life back into old wood. It almost gives it like a wet look, although it's not. It just really brings back the rich color in the wood. So we went ahead and did one side, but I wanted to wait till tonight to do this other side. So it is an oil-based product.
Hang on, let me get the camera off the stand before it falls off the stand.
Yeah, we're not doing that again, right?
Well,
so,
hopefully not. Let's take a look at like the bad wood.
Yeah, so you can see
nice inlay.
Pretty scratched
All
up.
scratched up and nasty. Look at the top. Ugh.
So can you see this line?
No wonder nobody wanted to buy this camel saddle.
Just wait. I'll have to jack the price up by like $100. Watch your back. Okay, so we're just gonna start down here because this is where I think it makes the most difference. And I just have a little bit on my rag. You ready?
Gonna move our lighting.
And you're gonna see those faded scratches just about disappear. And this beautiful gold inlay just pop out. I mean, if you look, I don't know, it's hard to get it in the same shot, but if you look at the other one.
Let's see if we can get a difference. Look how bad the wood is there. And this one looked exactly like that, and it's gone. It is nice and shiny. It's not because it's wet. The oil absorbs pretty quickly.
Let's do here. Right?
That's
you know what?
I
need to wipe that. Let me
light.
wipe that off real quick. Let's get the dirt off it, number one. Okay, here we go.
Why do we have stuff in our store that's dirty?
Gives it character.
Oh.
I mean, it's like
gone.
I know. It's just crazy. I just.
It looks like it was sanded and refinished.
I told Bill after I did this to the other side of this piece, I could not stop looking at it. This stuff is amazing. All right.
I don't even want to put this back on our camel anymore.
It's too good for our camel. Okay, let's do this one here again. Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
And holy cow. Holy camel.
This wouldn't fit on our cow.
Has anyone ever seen a cow? We didn't even know what this was, actually, until a couple days ago we had a customer come in and go, oh my gosh, a camel saddle.
Looks like we learned something.
We're like, oh, that's what that is. Too funny. All right, and we'll just finish up here because you can see, I'll leave that little spot right in the middle.
We got a question. Would you need to apply a second or third time?
No, nope, this does not need to be reapplied from what I recall. And I actually did put a second coat on this side just because I wanted to see if it made any difference, but it was beautiful with the first coat. I just kind of got curious, and so it really didn't change with the second coat. Now, and Dixie Belle can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this oil takes about 3 weeks to fully cure, where the Big Mama's butter only takes about a week, so a little bit longer cure time. This is food safe too, so you can use it on your, your kitchen island or your cutting board.
Burke says, had one in our shop, so cool. So we're not the only ones.
Did you know what it was? We bought it because we thought it, actually, did you get it at auction? I can't even remember.
This was a estate sale.
Okay. All right, so anyway, if you have not used Howdy Do hemp seed oil, you have got to get some of this because everything you look at that's wood, you're just gonna have to put it on. It's like addicting. And
maybe Dixie Belle could correct if I'm wrong here, but probably much like other finishing oils, it has to be reapplied.
I don't think this one has to be reapplied.
Well, no, not immediately. I'm like months or years down the line.
Yeah.
After it starts losing its sheen.
Yeah, I guess everything after a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was just a little side trip with the camel saddle. So we're going to go back to our fabric painting, which is what we're going to spend the rest of our video.
Pamela Brown says, is the metal at the bottom brass? Yes, it is.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, and we'll actually clean that up too, but with something else.
Yeah. I mean, just a cool piece. Okay, so here's our Victorian chair. The fabric, so when you paint fabric, the fabric should be in good condition, right? You're not going to take not good condition fabric and paint over it and make it look amazing. Okay, at that point you probably need to reupholster it. So this fabric was in pretty good condition. It's kind of a velour, I guess. I'm not really sure. It's got some kind of a little bit of texture to it, but not a lot. So it's pretty soft. I think it's velour. And the chair's in great shape. So tonight we're gonna put a first coat of paint on the fabric, but we're also gonna flip the chair around and show you some subsequent steps after you put your first coat of paint on. So this on top, and this is super smooth. I know you can't tell from the video, but it's very smooth. So it's not like a cakey, rough feel. So this has one coat of paint and it's been sanded. This part has 2 coats of paint with a sanding in between, and it's pretty heavy down here. So some of the fabric here was kind of roughed up, like it's not all going in the same direction, so you can kind of see that here. But this, again, 2 coats of paint, a sanding in between, and then on the one side over here, and you have to take my word for it because you can't see it, is the Easy Peasy Spray Wax, which is how we're gonna seal it in. So it's kind of a 3-step process. There's getting your paint on, there's giving it a sanding, and then there's sealing it. So we're gonna flip it back around, and just so you know, this chair is a work in progress. So the vision for this chair is dark in the middle, and then it's gonna go light up and down. So the colors that we are using is Stormy Seas in the middle, so that's gonna be our darkest. It's kind of a gray-blue. And then our medium color is Savannah Mist, which is up here. And then our light color, which is up here, is Fluff. So there's our palette for tonight. Stormy Seas, Savannah Mist, and Fluff. And I know a lot of times you see blending with going dark to light or light to dark, but this one I kind of wanted to start in the middle and go up and down. So that's the vision. And then we have some wax, gilding wax that we're gonna put all along the edges and probably on our stencil. We'll see how brave we get. Okay, so let's turn it around. So I think the key with painting fabric is to keep everything pretty damp. I feel like it kind of opens up the fibers in the fabric and lets the paint get in there. Instead of just painting on top of the fabric, we're really getting into the fiber of the fabric. So I don't mean that you need to keep it soaking wet, but you want to keep it fairly damp. Don't use a good brush for this unless you're painting some real super smooth fabric and you're just kind of able to brush it on. But this fabric has texture, so we're really going to be kind of digging in there. So I wouldn't use your, your fantastic Dixie Belle synthetic brush for this type of fabric painting. We're just going to use the Dixie Belle Premium Chip Brush for this because it takes a beating, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking, so to speak. All right, so the first color we're going to put on here is Stormy Seas. I'm not worried about this trim around here because I'm actually going to paint that as well. And then even if I get some on the wood, we're going to paint over it with our other colors anyway.
The trim is pretty close to the color you're painting it.
I know, you almost can't even tell the difference. It's more of a blue, probably hard to see. So we get a lot of questions about the bottles. These are FIFO first in, first out bottles. This is a 16-ounce bottle with a yellow nozzle. I find those are the ones that the paint comes out the best in. So that's what we're using to squirt out our paint. We're using our Mister bottle, which you guys can get at some retailers. You can get it on Amazon. I believe Dixie Belle will be selling them pretty soon this month. I'm going to start just by giving the fabric a little bit of a mist. And again, I'm not soaking it, just getting it a little bit damp. I'm going to dampen my brush. And here we go. I mean, it's like immediate. I mean, it's just, I don't know. If you haven't painted fabric, give it a try. Give it a try. And you can kind of see...
Like not a shirt. You don't want to paint your clothes.
You can. You need to paint your shoes for Soul to Souls, right? We got people painting jeans. I think I saw Amy paint curtains, like that kind of fabric. You can do it. And not like paint the whole thing, but like put a stencil on it. Just called you out.
Yes, you did.
As soon as you say you can't paint that, the group will go wild. Everyone will paint whatever you can't paint. That's how that works.
I'm sure you can paint it.
If you wake up tomorrow
I don't know if you want to wear it.
You're going to wake up tomorrow and your pajamas are going to be painted.
I don't have pajamas.
Hey. None of that. It's a family show.
So we got a question.
Yes.
Where do we get the bottles?
The FIFO bottles you can get multiple places. On you can get them on Amazon. Or what? Are we talking about these
Yes.
bottles? Yeah. You can get these on Amazon. There's another. I'm trying to think where I get them. It's like a restaurant website. But you can get them on Amazon, and these are the 16 ounce. I would have preferred to get the 12 ounce, but I got the 16 ounce. And I get the yellow nozzle, because you'll get different color nozzles, and this one seems to work pretty good with the consistency of the paint.
And do you just pour the paint into the bottles?
Yeah, so the top comes off.
Top comes off.
So first in, first out. So it's a restaurant condiment bottle, right? So when you always want to use what's oldest first, that way you don't worry about things getting expired and stuff. So you pour it in the top, and then whatever went in first will be your first out.
So if you previously had ketchup in these, you want to clean out all that ketchup first before you put your paint in.
Unless you're like using honky tonk red, then you're probably okay. No? No.
You don't want to, you can paint fabric, but you don't want to paint a hot dog.
This, all right.
It's trailed off into something.
Yeah, it's gone downhill quickly, so. All right. So on this fabric, I'm really not needing to dig in too much. It's going on pretty smooth. If you feel like it's not quite getting in there, you can re-wet it, and that just helps it move around. And I was really kind of wishing on the other side, and you'll see it when I flip it around, that I just did the one coat because I went really heavy because I wanted the fabric to really lay flat. But I think I went a little too heavy with the paint, so I was kind of wishing I stopped at one coat. So you know, you kind of do it, you sand it. When you sand it, it'll dull it a little bit, so you'll see it when we do it on the other side. So it's just like sanding a paint, right? When you give it a light sanding, it kind of dulls the color, and you're like, oh no, you know, the color's changed. But if you just take a damp cloth, or when you put your sealer on, all that color comes back. What?
Tracy says tomorrow there's going to be painted hot dogs.
Hey, whatever we can inspire you guys to paint.
Again, if you want to paint a hot dog, I'm just, don't eat it.
All right, so I mean that's pretty much it. Like, we're done.
We got a question. What's your ratio to water? And I don't think there is any real ratio to water. It's just goes by feel.
Yeah, I'm just kind of spraying it, and I just want to keep it damp enough. You may not even need water. I mean, you kind of just go by feel. It's just, if the paint's moving around good and it's going on good, you're fine. If not, if it just feels like it's dry and all the paint you're putting on is just kind of staying in one place, then you can dampen it and move it around. Even once it's on, when I spray it, and you guys probably can't see it, but there's some lines in this fabric. When I dampen it and paint, it thins it out, and you can actually see all those lines. So your water will definitely thin out the paint that you have on here and make your coverage a little more translucent, okay? So if you don't want that, use a little less water.
Cindy asks, can you use metallic paint on the fabric? You certainly can. In fact, Dixie Belle just a few minutes ago had said this chair would look great with the metallic paint.
I actually thought about maybe doing the stencil in a metallic paint. I didn't bring it up here, so I don't think we'll go with that tonight, but actually that did cross my mind. I had thought about putting metallic stripes on the seat, but I wasn't sure stripes would really go with this chair, so yeah, I think that would be awesome. So you're done. I mean, it barely took any paint, and we got pretty darn good coverage on this. And the colors were pretty similar, right? So this was kind of, if you're joining late, the base color was kind of a blue-gray color. So if I was doing white over this, you know, some of that's going to be coming through, and I'll need a few coats. Oop, that was pretty dumb. That is wet. All right.
Here's a tip for everyone. Don't touch wet paint.
You will get it on your hands. All right.
Another brush for me to clean?
Yes. So we're going to turn this around. Okay, and again, the vision for this chair is the middle is going to be our dark Stormy Seas, and then going up, we started to blend our medium color, which is Savannah Mist. So Stormy Seas, Savannah Mist, and then at the top we have Fluff. And then we're going to do that going down. So we're going to have dark in the middle, and you can see we already started it. We're going to have Savannah Mist, and then Fluff at the bottom.
Did you have to clean the fabric?
No, the fabric was actually pretty decent. So we just painted it.
Would you have to, if it was dirty?
I mean, if you have nasty fabric, you probably just don't want to cover it up with paint. So if you can clean it, I would probably go ahead and do that.
Yeah, just like with one of those regular cleaners from
like
the spray foam things. Yeah.
If the fabric smells, you're probably not gonna cover it up a whole lot with the paint. I mean, chalk paint is pretty porous, so I think if you have like a stinky fabric, I'm not sure that would work. So keep that in mind. Okay.
You may have to Febreze it until it's.
Yeah. Okay, so this has one coat and it has been sanded, lightly sanded. So when you first put your paint on, it's going to feel very hard and chalky and crackly, and you definitely don't want your fabric feeling that way. So you can take a sandpaper. I was using the sanding sponge by Dixie Belle, and then I have a 220 sandpaper. So anything around that grit is fine. And again, when you start to sand, you're gonna take some of the color off, but don't worry about that. It will come back, I promise. But you can kind of see how it's gonna get faded over here. This bottom has 2 coats. And again, I kind of wish I stuck with one, but we're gonna stencil over it, so no big deal.
Do you have to use the Easy Peasy wax, or can you use like a clear wax?
You can use Best Dang Wax too. I actually did that on a stool, but it took a really long time to dry. What I did was I used, I painted the stool caviar, which is Dixie Belle's black, and then I put the black Best Dang Wax over it to seal it, and it was, okay, so I'm not sure where we cut out there, but you can use Best Dang Wax. Just keep in mind, depending how much you use, it's gonna take a little bit longer to dry. But I went super heavy on the bench, or on the stool that I was doing. I actually ended up sanding it back a little bit, and then using the Easy Peasy Spray Wax over it, and now it's fine. But yes, you can definitely use regular wax.
So we got a question. You didn't need to tape any wood off since you're painting it too?
Yeah, I basically didn't care about getting the chair painted because my goal was, I actually had most of it painted in the Stormy Seas, and then I went over it with the colors that I decided to blend because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. It looked kind of Addams Family to me when I had it all dark gray, so I wanted to just brighten it up a little bit.
We probably would have had to tape some off, but because it's got that trim, that fabric trim around it,
Yeah.
the edge,
Yeah,
that's kind of acting as tape. Another question, can you use gator hide to seal?
I would not. I would not. I think that would make it a bit too hard. I've never tried that. I mean, it's a polyacrylic. I don't think.
No, I don't think you'd want to use that.
Yeah. I would stick with your spray wax. Okay, so this is feeling really smooth right now, so I'm liking that. I'm gonna keep kind of turning it. Keep putting my hand back there.
So when dried, the paint will not come off on clothing, like if you were to sit on it?
Nope.
Nope.
It is there, and especially because you're sealing it with your spray wax. So it is all sealed in. I mean, that was the problem I was having when I used the Best Dang Wax. But again, I literally took black wax over caviar and like slathered it on because I'm just like, oh, it's black paint, black wax, makes sense. But it really took a long time to dry. And then the black wax was what was coming off, you know, when I was wiping it. So I made.
So you think you're better off just using a clear wax?
I mean, if you're gonna use wax, I probably use clear. I think Kristana did a video, not sure when, using Best Dang Wax. So you can check that out. I think it's on, pretty sure it's on YouTube and might be on the Dixie Belle channel. Okay, so I think we're pretty good. It's nice and smooth all around. You can see I'm just kind of feeling it because you can tell immediately if you missed a spot by just feeling it. I'm gonna bring it down.
Going on the floor?
Going down the floor. Because here is what we want to do next. And I really haven't decided, so let me know what you guys think. Here is the stencil that we are going to use. I thought it kind of matched the whole Victorian chair thing. This is, I think this is Distressed Lace. I think that's the name of it. It's a Redesign with Prima stencil. It's big, it's a big one. So I think what I want to do is use this center part on the seat, not this whole like swoopy thing, but just the center, and maybe kind of have it fade out to each side. And then on the back, we're going to use this lace part. So we won't be able to do that tonight because of course this has to dry and I have to sand it. So we won't do that tonight, but we will do this part. So what I'm thinking of maybe using, I guess maybe I'll use both colors in there. Let's see. And for those of you who are OCD, you're gonna not like this, but we're just gonna kind of pinpoint the middle. Pinpoint, ooh. There's the middle, there's the middle, and that's what we're going with. And again, I'm not, I have this the right way, hang on. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm not too worried about perfection on the stencil,
I
because
think it's gotta,
how do you think it's got to turn?
right, just the right, no,
Oh.
you didn't have it.
Oh, you know what? Actually, it needs to go this way. So on these raised stencils, there's a flat side, and then there's a beveled side. And you want to make sure your flat side is to your project, because if your beveled side is to your project, when you, especially if you're doing a 3D stencil, when you start putting your medium on there, you know, it could leak out. So make sure your flat side, and you can see it, you won't be able to see it on camera, but you can see it when you look at it, which side is flat. Okay. What do you think? I can't really.
No, the other way.
The other way? What do you mean?
This side down. That looks good.
Good? All right. Let's try not to let it move. Ah!
Like that?
Yeah, well, it's kind of big, so I might just have to hold it. All right. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. So we're going to be using some stencil brushes. These are nice fat stencil brushes. There's a couple different sizes. They are Redesign with Prima ones. They're really good for stenciling, especially if you have a big area. And this is not even the biggest one. The biggest one is like ginormous. So we're going to use the smaller one. And we're going to start with maybe some Savannah Mist. And let me get some paper towel. So we want to keep our stencil brush pretty dry. I don't want to soak the fabric with the stencil. I just kind of...
Show the brushes again real quick.
Oh, yeah. So there's these, and there's actually a bigger one. And then there's also some smaller ones that come in a pack. But we'll probably use a couple different ones. I like to use these for the gilding waxes and the decor waxes. They're kind of nice.
Where can we get the stencils?
This is a Redesign with Prima stencil. I think it's called Distress Lace. So we're gonna.
So where can you get them?
You'd have to go onto a Redesign with Prima site and find a retailer. And you can go to our online shop. We sell a lot of their stencils. So we're gonna use just a little bit of paint, not too much. And I think we'll start.
That's the Savannah Mist, correct?
This is Savannah Mist. And we're just gonna dab. And I just want this center piece on here. I don't want necessarily all this lace. And I'm offloading my brush onto my plate. And I don't want it heavy. And we're gonna end up doing a couple colors on here. So I don't even want full coverage. Like I want it to look distressed. So let's see here. I think we're gonna have to get into a little bit of that. It's hard to tell where one design ends and the other one starts.
So important to keep this steady.
Yeah, this thing is kind of flopping around a little bit. I like to use these big stencils, even on, you don't have to use the whole thing, but I did one on the side of a nightstand, and it was just part of the stencil. And it looked really pretty. And we'll probably hit this with some of the wax, Decor Wax as well, because we're got some of the wax going on in the detail here. So I think I want to bring that into the fabric part. And because it's already painted, we should be fine using the Decor Wax. I'm gonna peek a little bit. Let's just kind of see. Nice. So it's really just kind of faded, right? It looks old, like someone's been sitting on this chair for a bazillion years.
Actually, Pam is using Savannah Mist.
This is Savannah Mist.
The Fluff bottle is there as a weight.
Yeah, the stencil is heavy and stiff, so it's kind of moving around.
So we are using Fluff. We're just using it to keep the stencil in place.
See how many uses Dixie Belle has? I mean, it's endless. It's absolutely endless. I think I am gonna go up into there. And some of it I'm doing heavier, some of it I'm doing lighter. Again, I don't want to be uniform and consistent with this. And my goal is to kind of have it fade off as it comes to the edge. So we're gonna go kind of light there.
Rick says that's looking real cool.
I like. I've never stenciled on fabric before. I've painted fabric before, but never did a stencil.
Yes.
All right.
Shouldn't tell people that.
You guys, if you guys watch us, you know we like to do things for the first time on videos because we want you to see how easy some of this is. I mean, if you're gonna go blending something, I'm looking for my fluff. Ooh. If you're gonna go blending something, I mean, it takes some practice, right? I mean, you can do it, but it takes some practice. But there are some things that you can just jump in and do. This is not hard. The hardest part is picking your colors and your stencil and your wax, and there's just so many choices. You don't even know where to start sometimes. I know that's where I struggle. I never have a vision of what something's gonna look like, at least not yet. Like I kind of know what colors I want, and I put one color on, and then the next step comes. I didn't even know I was gonna do this wax until a couple hours ago. It just kind of comes, but you gotta start, right? You just gotta start somewhere. So I'm thinking.
Megan says, "Love all the firsts. Give us newbies hope."
You got hope, girl. You know I got you. All right, we're gonna do a little white.
What kind of white?
This is Fluff. And now we have our Stormy Seas kind of holding down the stencil.
Tracy says, "I'm really glad you guys that you do first times on your lives. It gives us courage to try." Yeah, don't be afraid to try.
Seriously, guys.
Even if it doesn't work out right, we can always redo it.
That's the beauty. You don't like it, repaint it, but you gotta try.
Dixie Belle says, "Now Pam is using Fluff."
Hardy, hard, Dixie Belle. Come on now. All right.
Tracy says, #newbie courage.
I love it. I love it. All right. So, I think, let's take a peek. Ooh.
And it's ruined.
No.
Well, that looks good.
So do you think that's enough? I don't think I want to do the whole seat. I think it'd be too much.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's plenty. It almost gives it that old, like embroidered look like the old Victorian chairs used to have.
I love it. All right, I want to just give it a minute or two, and I literally used a pretty dry brush, so this is going to dry quick. But I want to bring in some of this color, which is, so this is Element, and it is a Decor Wax by Redesign with Prima. So so this wax to me is a little, it's a little softer than the gilding waxes from Dixie Belle. So, you know, they both work amazing and all the colors are amazing. In fact, some of the gold up here is Dixie Belle's warm gold, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm still kind of playing with what colors I want. I even had green patina in here at one time because I thought maybe I wanted to do a little of that with the gilding wax. So I'm kind of unsure on that, but I think this one might do a little better on fabric just because it's a little softer.
What's the name of that stuff?
This is Redesign with Prima Decor Wax.
What's the color?
Oh, sorry, this is Element. So it's kind of a coppery one.
If you run out, are you out of your element?
Seriously? Apparently I am, I guess. Have you been like planning that this whole time?
Do I ever plan anything?
No, it would have been much better, I guess, if you planned it. Okay, so I'm taking one of these little stencil brushes and I'm just gonna dab it in there. By the way, these smell really good. And then we're just gonna, let's see. I think it's actually just wet on the stencil. I don't think the actual fabric is still wet. Let's go for it. We're doing it.
What does it matter?
We did it. And this, I don't want a lot of this. I want to be kind of random. Again.
Susie Smith appreciates my humor.
Susie, don't encourage him.
Encourage or not, I'm not going to stop.
I know. That's why I love you. As long as you never do Gilbert Gottfried ever again, that impression.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen either.
Okay. All right, so this is looking good. I don't know if can you see? Are you close in?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this will kind of pull this in really well. And then when all this is dry, we are going to give it a spray with Easy Peasy Spray Wax. You doing okay on time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Megan Meadows says, your humor is the highlight of my weeks. Love you guys.
Megan, I'm so sorry.
Girl, you need to get out.
Yeah.
Ooh, Robin Long from Port Burwell, Canada.
Hey, Robin. All right, we'll do a little bit more.
Good day.
And I'm almost wondering if I want to do a little gold. This is what happens. So it's really hard to know when to stop.
Ellen Kincaid says, my husband asked if you were giving her a difficult time. I said, just being a man. So yes.
Thanks, Ellen. All right.
Marla from Indiana.
Hi, Marla. Let's peek.
Marion, Indiana.
See if we
Let's
need
go.
some more. Oh boy.
Looks good.
Love.
All right, I'm afraid to take this camera off. We got to get a new.
Yeah, sorry. Our equipment is really nice.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pretty happy with it. Now, what's nice about this stencil is, oh, I love that. If I decided later on I wanted to go back and do more, I mean, all you got to do is line it up and keep going.
Tracy McGinty says, Pam, I can't imagine what it was like working at the bedside with Bill. And she means at the bedside. We were both in medical field for...
I was the nurse, he was the respiratory therapist. So when I needed something, I would beckon on him to come serve me and my patient.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea what's wrong with my patient. Can you check him out, please?
All right.
Actually, Pam was an awesome nurse and very seldom did not know what was wrong with her patients.
Many nurses out there, you know what I'm talking about with RT, you know. Okay, so what do you guys think? I'm tempted to just leave this top part as is, but does it need like something? I don't know. Maybe on the buttons?
Any suggestions?
Just feels like this is so pretty, but this needs something. I don't know what. I'm gonna have to ponder. So on this top part here, we're not done with the wax, so we're gonna be putting this a little more heavy.
Ellen says leave it.
Leave it. You're probably right.
But yeah, I guess she's more of the, and I think I'm there too. Just you don't want to go crazy.
Yeah.
Dixie Belle does say maybe some of the gold wax on the buttons.
On the buttons? That's kind of where my eye is going. Like,
I mean, if you were to do anything on the buttons, I would say
just like
barely.
And maybe not every one. Maybe just like.
Susie says, leave it alone.
So hard. All right.
Perfect as is. Gold on the buttons. Darker on the inside, Carrie says.
On the.
What do you mean by that, Carrie?
Yeah, inside where? In the. Hey, we could probably put some Dixie dirt in there, make this chair dirty and old.
Let's not.
The possibilities are endless. All right. So now that that is on, we're going to do our last step. Make sure we're pretty dry.
We're getting a lot of just leave it.
Leave it. Yeah, because don't forget on the back. So on the back, if you didn't see before, we painted the back. And we're going to do this little lacy, I don't know if you can see, but we're going to do this lace part here, up at the top. So we'll have a little bit of something on the back, a little bit of something on the front.
Brenda Cropper says it might be too busy, especially with the tufting of the fabric.
Yeah.
Just leave it. Leave it as is.
And
I'm kind of going that direction myself.
All right, we'll sleep on it.
Right,
Not actually on it, but sleep over it.
After it's dry, you can sleep on it.
So the last step for this part is easy peasy spray wax. I think this is so underused. It's just another one of those things. So this is like the Bayou Moss of gel stains to me, which is completely underused too. And I don't know, I just feel like this is an underused product too. So I'm glad to see a lot of videos out there now of people using it. So you want to shake it up really well. The directions are on the back. Shake well before using. Spray a light mist and spread evenly with a dry cloth. And this is, of course, if you're doing a solid surface. Let it soak in, dries in 30 minutes, reapply in an hour, up to as many coats as you want. Cures in 6 hours. So like it's easy and it's fast. Okay, so. And it also, it's a matte finish, okay? So if you're looking for something kind of glossy or shiny that you can buff out, it really doesn't do that. It's a matte finish. But we're just gonna spray it on. So you can already see how it brings back the color. Remember I said earlier, we're gonna sand off some of the color, but...
Everybody forgive me, I'm taking the camera off. Ugh. All right.
So like right here, you can kind of see the difference. You see?
A little bit.
Yeah. And you don't want to get too close. You don't want to get a lot of like droplets or anything. So just kind of mist it. Make sure we get the whole thing. And this is what's going to seal our paint in. Nothing's going to come off when we sit on it. I'm not going to get down here too much because I'm not done painting, but it definitely brought back all that color that we dulled out with the sanding. And I don't think I'm going to paint this
Brittany
anymore.
says we should stencil the entire seat.
You think so?
I think
So
we may
hard.
be going a little.
Just so
little
hard
overboard,
to know. I really kind of wanted it just a little, like an accent.
The painting's not done of the chair either. Yeah. Really, we're all focusing on the fabric.
Yeah.
But we also want to highlight the painting of the chair once that's done too. So I think with all the... It might be just a little bit too much once all that's
It'll
done.
be pretty blingy. Don't forget, we're going to fade out on the bottom, kind of that ombre going down. So,
Robin Long says, I want to paint a chair. How do I prep?
get a chair.
That's step one.
That's it. Get a chair and start painting. I didn't do anything to the fabric. The fabric should be in good condition. You know, it shouldn't be something that needs to be reupholstered. That's not why you paint it.
We had a question earlier regarding fabric. Like, have you ever done a fabric that had a lot of, like, a loose fabric?
So we did the demi-lune bench.
Yeah.
So that
was like an ottoman, wasn't it?
Yeah. That fabric was like fabric that was just material, like that was put over a pad, like a seat. and that came out gorgeous. Like that, this has texture in it, but like the flat fabric, it felt like just like a thin suede. It was so nice. So
I think you're going to get different results with different fabrics.
Yeah, and then we did the bench that was really thick, rough fabric. So that was a little bit different. Took a couple coats, had to keep it pretty wet. So you just kind of play with the fabric and see how the paint takes to it. But no prep, you know, just start with pretty decent, clean, clean fabric. All right. Well, I'm on the floor, and I'm not gonna have you film me get up and moan and groan. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about the fabric painting or any of the products we use, please throw them in the comments. We always go back and answer them. And we appreciate you joining us on this Friday night. We will see you at the end of the month again. The link to our page is in the top, so if you'd like to, jump on over there and join our page. Our affiliate link is there, so if you don't have a local Dixie Belle retailer, you can click on that, and we'll be happy to help you out. But please check and make sure that you have a local retailer first, because we want you to go to them.
One more question.
Yeah.
What would you suggest if you have a really dark fabric?
So it's hard to do a light color over dark fabric.
It's just
there's
like
not like a primer that you can put on or anything. Maybe you want to go over it with some gray, something kind of toned down if you're going to do something light. But we did a pretty dark fabric, but we painted it caviar, so it covered no problem. You just kind of have to see. If it's a light color, you might need to do a whole bunch of coats, and some of that may still start to come through. If you have stripes and patterns in your fabric, the paint won't cover that either. You're still going to have some of that coming through as well. All right, great questions, guys. We're going to wrap it up, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you in a few weeks back here on this page. Take care.